Join me as we learn Chumash for Monday, Parshas Yisro, the second Torah reading of Parshas Yisro, chapter 18, verse 13. Yesterday we learned about Yisro comes to the desert with Moshe's wife and children, and they break bread together, and all the Jewish people are there and see the great honor that Moshe gives to his father-in-law Yisro. Today we begin, as Rashi will tell us, that we know that the Torah is not a history book and therefore it's not in chronological order. And as we're soon going to see, that this Torah reading that we're going to be reading now happened after the giving of the Torah and after the day of Yom Kippur, which is the time when Moshe came down the mountain the second time with the second set of 10 commandments. And this is when Moshe and Yisro gives Moshe some good advice. Verse 13, Vayihi mimocharas. And it was on the following day. What was the following day? The 11th of Tishrei, the day after Yom Kippur. Vayeshev Moshe lishpeit ha'am, and Moshe sat down to judge the people. Vayamid ha'am al Moshe, and all the people stood around Moses. Min ha'boiker ad ha'arev, from the morning to the evening. Rashi, Vayihi mimocharas. When was this next day? It was the day after Yom Kippur. Kach shaninu b'sefri. This is the way the Sefri explains it. What does it mean the next day? The day after he came down the mountain. Interesting to note, the Baal HaTurim over here also says the word mimocharas, the next day. If you take the word mimocharas with the actual letters, mimocharas has the same numeric value of l'mocher yom ha'bikurim, the next day after Yom Kippur. So we see it in the numeric value, and as Rashi explains it. Now Rashi proves his point. You must say that this is only the day after Yom Kippur. You cannot say that it is before the giving of the Torah, and that the Torah is in chronological order. That's when you cannot say. Because, how do you then say, how does he respond to his father-in-law? And his father-in-law asks him in the next few verses, he says, why are they all standing here? And he tells them, because I have to tell them the laws that God told me, if the Torah hasn't been given yet. What is he telling them? From the day the Torah was given until, which is the 6th of Sivan, until Yom Kippur, Moshe didn't sit down to judge the people. Because if you take the math, he came down, the Torah was given on the 6th of Sivan. He came down on the 17th of Tammuz, which is 40 days later. And at that time, Yored v'shibades aluchis, he came down and broke the tablets. And the day afterwards, Allah, he went back and prayed to God for 80 days that he should forgive the Jewish people. And he came down again for the second time on Yom Kippur. So, therefore, you have to say that this Torah reading is not in chronological order. Because then it only happened until the second year that it says after they came out of Egypt, and it's going back and retelling us the story, and it tells us that it was the day after Yom Kippur, after he came down the mountain, that then when Yisro gave the advice to his son-in-law. So too, Rashi continues to say, and that you have to come with this whole type of calculation. But there's a dispute of when did Yisro actually come. Did he come before the Torah was given, or did he come after the Torah was given? So even if you would say that Yisro came before the Torah was given, and therefore if you look at the last verse, it says that he was sent back. When was Yisro sent back home? This was only was only the second year. Because it says over here, Vayishalach Moshe and the Moshe sent off his father-in-law. And we find in the book of Numbers when the Jewish people are traveling, Moshe tells them, and we're going to be traveling, come with us to the land of Israel. This was before the sin of the spies. If you're going to say that he sent them off before the giving of the Torah, when he sent them off, and then he went to his land. So where to find that he returned? So it can't be that over here Moshe sends him back and then he comes back later on again and Moshe tries to convince him to stay with them. It must be that he was here all the way through until after the giving of the Torah, and only afterwards did he tell him. Did he send him off, or that's when he goes, or convinces him, persuades him to stay. If you're going to say Shamalei Nemar Yisrael, you might argue and say, over there when it says that he talks to his father-in-law, he says don't leave. He just doesn't say Yisrael, uses the name Chayvav. Maybe this was the son of Yisro. The Torah says no. And man, Yisro himself went back. You can't say that because Chayvav hu Yisro. Chayvav is actually Yisro, because if you look in the book of Judges, like we mentioned earlier, the Chayvav was the father-in-law of Moshe. So we know that Chayvav is Moshe. So when it talks about later in the book of Numbers about asking and telling him to stay warm with the Jewish people, it is the same individual. So therefore we have to learn that this Torah reading is not in chronological order. Yisro was there from the time the Jewish people, from before the giving of the Torah, stayed until after the giving of the Torah with the travels of the Jewish people in the second year, and only then does he decide to go back to his hometown in Midian. Vayeshev Moshe vayamid ha'am. Yosef Kemelech, Moshe was sitting like a king. V'kulam aimdim, and all was standing around him. V'huksha davar liYisro, and Yisro was perturbed by it. Shoyimezalzem b'kreidim shel Yisrael, because he felt that he was disrespecting the honor of the Jewish people. V'yichichoy, and like a good father-in-law, he rebuked the son-in-law. Al kach shnemer, as it says, Madu ata yoshev levadecha. What are you sitting alone? V'kulam nitzaf, and everybody else is standing around you. How is that respect for the people, making them stand in line for so long? From morning until evening. How is it possible to say that Moshe would sing? Rashi asks, how can you say that the whole day Moshe was there judging the nation? Ella, what is this referring to? This is telling us that any judge who honors and does a true and honorable judgment, even for one moment, the verse considers it. It's as if he's studying Torah all day. When he becomes now a partner with God, in the creation. As it says, that he was in the evening and in the morning, so too that it says that Moshe was standing and judging the people from morning to evening. Verse 15. So Moshe responded, verse 14. Moshe, and the father-in-law of Moshe saw everything that he's doing to the people. And he said to him, what is this thing that you're doing to the people? Why are you sitting all alone? Why are you doing this all alone? And all the people are standing upon you. From morning till evening. Rashi. Verse 15. Moshe tells his father-in-law, because the people are coming to me, to ask the word of God, to know what to do. Rashi, kiba, meaning that they will come. L'shoin hoive, they're coming now, but it also continues in the present. They want to know, they want to learn what God has to say at every present thing, at every idea. Verse 16, and he continues to tell them, when they have a legal matter, they come to me, unable to judge between man and his fellow. And then I can make known to them God's rules, and his teachings. Verse 16, Rashi, whoever has an issue, a financial matter, will come to me to hear what the judgment is. Verse 17, so Yisro tells him and gives him some advice. And the father-in-law of Moshe says to him, it is not good what you are doing. Rashi, why does he call him Choysen Moshe? This says as follows: Derech Kavit Koder Kasuf, in a way of an honorable and respectful way, the Torah calls him Choysen Shel Melech, because he was the father-in-law of the king. Yud Ches, verse 18. Novel Tibel Gamota, you're going to wear yourself out. Gamata, not only you, Gama'om, also the people Asharimcha that are with you, Asharimach that's with you. Ki Chavit Mimcha Hadavar, because this is becoming way too difficult for you. The matter is too weighty on you. This is not something you can do alone. Rashi, Novil Tibel Kitargume, like the Targum explains, Lishene Loshin Kamisha, this becomes worn out. Vehela Novil Fleischter Belaz, Kame Vehela Novil, like the Kinfeil Allah Migofen, like the leaf becomes withered out. Shu Kamush withers, Al Yidei Chama becomes dried out because of the sun, Val Yidei Keracha because of very cold, Vekoiche Tosh Vinil, and therefore becomes weakened and dried up, and it doesn't have the strength because of the sitting in the sun. Gamata, meaning you, the rabbis, it's including not only you. Why does it say also you? Gam? Arin v'chur v'shivim skenim, even those that are standing there to assist you, Aaron, Chur, and the 70 elders, will also become worn out. Ki chavid mimcha, because it's too weighty on you. Kavdei rav Yisro mekechacha, it's more difficult than the strength that you'll have, and you're not going to be able to last too long. That means this is going to become too burdensome on you, and therefore you're not going to be able to last. As well as he talks about the people, that if they're going to have to wait online for so long, eventually, as he tells them, they're not going to want to ask any questions because it will take too long to get an answer. Verse 19, now listen to me. I will give you some advice. And God will agree, if God agrees with you. You will be for the people's representative, before God. And you will be the one to bring the cases before God. Rashi, I'm going to give you advice. He told him, you know what? I'm just going to tell you this, but listen to what I have to say, and then say, go ask God if he agrees with it. You'll be the shliach. You're going to be the one, the representative of the Jewish people, to bring their questions to God. And ask God the judgment. Their arguments. Verse 20. And you will warn them, and you will caution them regarding the rules and the teachings. And you will make note of them the way that they should follow, and the actions that they should be doing. How is this going to happen? Verse 21. So the way you're going to do it and implement this is, and you will now you discern from among all the people, Anshe Chayil, men who are well established, Yirei Elikim, who are God-fearing, Anshe Emes, people of truth, of integrity, Soine Betza, who hate money, V'samta Aleim, and you will make them, and you will appoint them as Sari Alofim, as leaders of the thousands, Sari Meyas, leaders of 100, Sari Chamishim, leaders of 50, V'Sari Asaris, and leaders of tens. Rashi, and explains what it means. And here's Yisro's plan. Va'ata sechasa, you will see, you will discern. How are you going to discern? Beruach HaKodesh Alecha, with your divine presence. Anshe Chayil, what does this mean? Anshe Chayil, he doesn't mean mighty people, but in this case he's talking about well-established individuals. Ashirim, they're wealthy, meaning she'in tzricham lahachnif ulahakir panim, they don't have to nobody can bribe them, they don't have to show off, they don't have to be able to find honor or comfort amongst other people because they're well established within themselves and they have enough self-confidence that they don't have to worry about everybody else and showing off to other people. Anshe Emes, Elu Bali Avtacha, these are people of integrity, Shem Kedai Lismich al Devreim, you can rely on them, when people are of integrity say something, that people that are listening will follow to what they have to say. Soine Betza, not only do they have their own money, but they hate money, meaning they dislike it, and therefore they don't have this desire for money, and therefore nobody will be able to bribe them. And like those sages used to say, gold dayana, the mafkin mamoina minei bedina lav dayanahu. Any judge who had to be by forcefully taken out money from him in court is not considered a good judge, meaning because that he did not see himself as guilty, that he was willing to give up the money, that proves that he has a love of money, a lust for money, and that means it's just a matter of how much to be able to bribe this individual, and therefore he is invalid for being a judge. So anytime a judge, who that judge himself, you had a difficult time getting him to pay up a case, and he had to go to court for it, that in itself shows you that that judge has some type of lust for money. Sari alofim, a leader of 1,000s. So if you take the amount of people there were, so if there's 600,000 people, how many leaders for thousands do you need? That's you need 600. Sari Meyas, then you have leaders of 100. Sheish halafim, if there's 600,000 people, leaders for every 100, that you'll need 6,000. Sari Chamishim, Yud Beis Elef, you need 12,000. Sari Asaris, you need Shishim Elef, 60,000, so each one will be responsible for 10 people. Verse 22. V'shaftu atham b'chales, and they will judge the people at all times. V'hayu kol hadavar hagadol yaviu elecha, every major case they would bring to you, and all the small things, yishputun heim, they will judge on their own, the minor cases. V'hakil me'alecha, this will ease your burden. V'nasu itach, by sharing it with them. V'shaftu v'doinu, they will judge. Lashon sivu, they will tell what the order is. V'hakil me'alecha, it will ease your burden. Davar zel lahakil me'alecha, this thing, that advice that I'm giving you, that should make it easier for you. Like we say, and this will make it more difficult, is the opposite terminology, but he's saying something that would happen in the present. Verse 23. If this thing you shall do, and God commands you to do so as well, and you will be able to bear up to it, be able to stand, and also all these people, including as well Aaron and his sons, as we'll soon see, will arrive at their destination in peace. Verse 23, Rashi, go ask God to make sure that he agrees with this. If he commands you to do so, you'll be able to continue to do so. However, if God says you cannot, he will refrain you from doing so. You will not be able to follow my advice. That means you need to get God's approval with this. Gam kolam hazeh, also this entire nation. Who's this entire nation? Aaron, Nadav, Avihu, Shivim Skedim, the 70 elders, Anil v'mata yimecha, who those who are accompanying you when you do and judge the people. This concludes the second Torah reading of Parshas Yisro.